all-knowing and all-powerful, starting with the elderly wolf uncle. Chapter 122. Ready to go, he said lightly. Good. Barry. Aaron took a deep breath. He was now a little resistant to Chen Tian's heart. After all, the scene just now, even for a physical evidencer, was a little too brutal and bloody. Then, Chen Tian put his hand on Barry. On Alan's shoulder. The reason why he stayed in Barry. Aaron didn't look at the identity of the other Flash. It's about trying to verify one thing. What's wrong, Barry? Aaron felt Chen Tian's gaze and stopped on his body to feel puzzled. I'm also a little afraid that the other person will do something terrible. Don't be nervous, I'm just thinking about something. Chen Tian noticed the change in his mood and immediately chuckled. I'm not a red-eyed butcher. Quote. Barry. Aaron swallowed and nodded, and then weakly found a reason for fear. I was just thinking about the wonderful experience of shuttling just now. Quote. Chen Tian glanced at the other party and raised his eyebrows. There will be a better experience later. In fact, what Chen Tian wanted to verify was to teleport in dimensions and whether he could teleport with others. If you can, there will be a lot more room for manipulation in the future to establish a mutant country. Thoughts fell. Chen Tian slowly closed his eyes, and he felt that he was in the DC universe, leaving a few coordinates. They are Gotham, Metropolis and Central City. The three coordinates clearly appeared in Chen Tian's perception, and then he also felt the flow of time in these places. Ready? Let's go, Chen Tian said, his hands stretched forward, and the space in front of him was like a piece of drawing paper, and he grabbed the Dao folds. Then, rip-pull. The space was torn open by Chen Tian with a dimensional space channel. This spatial passage can not only connect different spaces, but also contain different times. Let's go. Chen Tian looked at Barry. Aaron glanced at it, and then pressed the other party's shoulder and walked into the spatial passage together. Hum 1. When the two entered it, the spatial passage was immediately closed. DC Universe. In the time dimension after 10,000 years. Central City. The space rippled, and then the figures of Chen Tian and Flash appeared out of thin air in the suburbs where they had appeared before. It's back. Barry next to Chen Tian. Alan, seeing this scene, couldn't help but sigh. As for Chen Tian's face, joy also appeared. Dimensional teleportation, you can bring people in with Barry. Alan said goodbye after separation. A bold idea emerged in Chen Tian's heart. Although the DC universe does not have suitable, good, abilities for the time being, it is worth him to make a special trip to copy. But he's not ready to go back to Marvel. He was ready to go to the black-robed pickets. Previously, he felt that he was not proficient in dimensional teleportation and could not accurately shuttle to the world of Black Robes Zero, but now he felt that the time was ripe to give it a try. After all, there are many superpowers in the world of Black Robes, as well as the notorious Motherland Zero, that is, the despicable fellow that many American comic fans often say. His abilities are similar to Dachau, and he is not very weak, and he can copy and superimpose on his body. Anyway, no one will think that there are many abilities, not to mention that Chen Tian's ability is infinitely superimposed, and his ability is strong enough after waiting. You can recklessly go to various worlds to copy, and constantly superimpose and become stronger. Thinking. Chen Tian calmed down. He was the first time to shuttle the world outside of Marvel DC, and he didn't know if he could succeed. And with it, the space in front of him appeared wrinkled, and then the folded space was gradually torn, and a huge suction force was instantly generated to suck Chen Tian in. Phew. Next second, the alley was empty and fell silent. Meanwhile, another universe beyond DC. I saw a figure walking out on a street in a prosperous city, and it was Chen Tian, who walked out with some uncertainty. Hoping to find information about the black-robed pickets, I didn't expect to walk out and look up and see an iconic figure saw. On the advertising space of one building hangs 6 huge portraits, the most conspicuous portrait in the C position. It was a man in a cloak and tights. The man in the portrait has a stiff kind smile on his face, giving people a very kind and friendly feeling. On the cape is a horizontal star pattern printed with the United States. Symbolizes that he is a heavyweight of the country. This person is the representative figure of this country in the current society. Motherlanders. Chapter 89. The killing intent of the motherland. Hard body resistant to nuclear bombs. Between the bustling cities, large and small streets crisscross and traffic flows endlessly. Die one by one, Chen Tian stood in front of a moving tall building and looked up at the 6 huge figures in front of him. The traffic behind them seemed to be jammed, all the vehicles were moving with great difficulty, and the impatient horn was constantly sounding. This universe is in the morning at this moment, and it is estimated that it has hit the morning peak. Everything seems to be no different from other ordinary universes. However, this universe is the universe of the black-robed pickets. Chen Tianmu smoothed over the portraits on the 6 huge paintings hanging in front of him, laughing silently. In this world, there are a group of artificial superhumans, and then there are companies that have created this group of people into national idols that everyone admires. However, what is not known to the public is that almost every one of these high-profile superhumans actually has an extremely unbearable and dark side. And the black-robed pickets have 2 worldviews, one is comics, the other is film and television zero, the former is much bloodier and brutal than the latter. Chen Tian judged by the picture in front of him that he came to the film and television world at the moment, in fact, from the beginning. He had the idea of coming to the black-robed picket world to copy the ability of the 6-person group. However, Chen Tian finally chose DC Universe. No way, the attraction of the big super Clark is too great. But now the ability of Dachau has been owned by me, so it is time to reap the ability of the motherland. Chen Tian looked at the blonde man with a bright smile and thought silently. Although Azu is only a low-end version of Superman, he can become the strongest existence in the world. His ability is not weak, plus the ability to copy can be superimposed. Who thinks they have more abilities? At this moment, although Chen Qian can continue to grow stronger by relying on the power of his bloodline as long as he bathes in the sun, while absorbing stellar energy, it does not prevent him from copying more abilities to increase the speed of his strength. In this case, he naturally wants to maximize the efficiency of everything. Now I, in general, can be considered strong, but I have not completely reached the point of complete invincibility. Chen Qian began to silently evaluate his situation. Although I now have super divine speed, basically, in addition to the existence of high dimensions, the enemy at the same latitude at my speed cannot keep me. Quote. But the frontal combat power is not enough for me to face all existences. Thinking of this, he smiled a little. You can escape, but I don't want to be a rat who can only escape. Quote. Time to go. Immediately, 320 Chen Qian took back the thoughts he emanated and turned away. Then, against the still congested traffic, he slowly walked through the streets of the city. Walking along the way, you can see that in this bustling city, you can see photos of superheroes who are regarded as idols with full names. One of the most conspicuous and common is the billboards of the Motherlanders. Chapter